See, I fancy it that there's keys to things, and I've noticed after vlogging for 3 years that some things are timeless, and the more that you can explain them with things that are natural as opposed to things that are synthetic, you're going to find yourself describing a lot of landscaping. And this is what the Indians meant when the land is different from their people. And this is above, meaning more superior than thinking what inanimate objects are. They're just sufficing to the lowest common denominator being what the land is. So in describing nomenclature, if you can think things and describe them as things in land, which in Latin they're doing with patrons, in modern day I suffice to describing what curbs and lots are, it's going to be that much more timeless for countless things. One thing I've noticed is locks and water breaking. Locks as in air, and water breaking as in prenatal. Is when I was living in Boise, Idaho, in K through 12, / kindergarten through third grade. There was a guy inside of the establishment, and he saw my family. He contacted my parents right away, and he said, "We need to keep you guys inside of a picture because we're putting up a corn dog business." And this was Pronto Pups. And so I know what it is to take more than one take, because he had us running towards a 1930s car, and he had my mom with a different guy who he wanted suited for this image of a blow-up picture that he put inside of the store of this corn dog place. And this was my first interpretation of establishment, the industry of commercialism. And so we were running towards my mom and this other guy. I was dressed up with a cowboy hat and had my sisters in dresses running next to me. And this says quality life. And at the hospital, it says, like, never give up. So we got these 2 benches behind closed doors. We won't say what's in there. And that's the problem and the solution. That's what's so hard. The very thing that's hurting you is the very thing. This is Newtonian. Equals and opposites attract. Can be the very key that helps you. So that's why in history, from like the dawn of time, it's the diagonal that is the answer. So what's behind closed doors? Exactly. We're not going to say what's under there. That's kept under wraps. But look at this. It continues naturally. So at the Hospital of Aurora, it says never broken, and it's this bench. And it looks like this bench has been donated. The same location, an establishment and institution at the library, another bench. And it says life natural, quality life naturally. Top Grafton. Who etched this in? Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts? Either or. They're at both locations of establishments, and they're, I don't want to say panhandling, but when you donate something and you etch into it, it definitely has a personal touch. And that's how a solution is a problem at the same time if you know a diagonal. And knowing is huge, and that's why in Vermont they said knowledge is power, and they showed us on TV the 80s cartoon or whatever of that thing. And I just saw this girl who drove me to high school. She's opening this library to my left on Memorial Day weekend. This is supposed to be closed, but she was just in there doing activity, like opening a door or changing a sign. Either or is what it is. That's funny. Dead air. Catch some dead air. Look at my shoe. When your shoe starts to have a hole in it, that's when you know you have to change it. Even if you have sweaty feet and you're combating with it. My sweaty feet are equivalent to people who have Raynaud's, who have sweaty hands. And I'm combating them the same way that they're combating sweaty hands. But when I have sweaty feet, I try to dry my shoes so it doesn't have, sweat in it. So the same aspect. This is why MCR capitalized so well. And I grew up in New Jersey where they came from. He says, like, take off your gloves as going out. That's huge because shoes compared to gloves are a real thing. And so if you have sweaty hands and you have Raynaud's and you're going out, you're pretending like you have an ailment. I try making ailments with my shoes because they always get sweaty. And I even asked a pharmacist as like a youth, what do I do about my sweaty feet? She's like, Gold Bond. So in this case, how to take care of sweaty feet is like a lifelong thing with having shoes that are old and you don't want to get rid of them until they get a hole in them. So once again, the problem solution, when is something unkept proper? And in the case of these benches, it's clear as day what's acceptable, because the hospital and the library both have these benches that are donated AF because they don't look like they've been industrialized, planned out, and procedurally processed. Like Nikki, this librarian who used to drive me to school, but now she's in the school's town's place library. And if you heard that sound effect, you might know what was on behind closed doors. There was this guy who is a shooting coach, and he said that he can tell where there's a cheating bullet because he does trap shooting. If there's brass, it eats up more, so it shoots faster, so it's like more accurate. That's why snipers are deadly, because they're so fast and accurate. But he says he can hear like this ping, and this is where he knows that people are cheating because they're not supposed to use brass bullets. Go figure. That configuration of what cheating is in trap shooting. Culminate all this stuff together and you really have something important.